3 myths about building muscle. Now, there's a lot of fucking myths out there, and a lot of myths that people want you to believe either because they're selling a program or they're selling a product, but it's mostly because they don't know what they're talking about and they just want to put out false information so they can get their views up and they can get the cloud up. And there's a lot of myths out there, but here I'm gonna give you the top 3 most seen myths and most told myths that don't work about building muscle.
Now, the first myth, I see a lot of influencers putting this out, is about supplements. You do not need supplements to get big, to grow muscle. You do not need those. They tell you that to sell you their product, their programs. You do not need supplements to grow muscle. I used to not take supplements, and I was growing a decent amount of muscle. Now I do, but it's not to an extreme point where you need this pill, you need this powder. It's not like that. All you really need is to go hard in the gym, take care of your diet. You don't need all these supplements that they're selling you. They're only selling you on their products. Don't listen to them. It's just a myth.
Now, the second myth, and I will say it's arguably probably one of the biggest myths out there, and that's that you need a dirty bulk to build muscle. You see this everywhere. Oh, you're a skinny guy, you need a dirty bulk. That's false. You don't need a dirty bulk. You could get in a clean, lean bulk and still build muscle, or you could maintain a little bit and add just like add most 500 calories and still build muscle. Dirty bulking isn't the way to go. By you dirty bulking, you might think you're building muscle, but it's just mostly fat and probably water weight. All right, and then you're gonna be very disappointed once you gain the weight that you want to gain. All right, now I dirty bulked, I look a little chubby. Let me start getting into better shape. You're gonna realize that, oh, did I just lose all my muscle? It wasn't just all muscle. It was mostly fat and water weight that you were holding. So now you're gonna be left with not as much muscle as you thought you had. So I'm telling you, don't dirty bulk. Get in a slight calorie surplus and make sure it's lean, good quality food. Don't make sure it's trashy foods that is just gaining you weight. You might see the weight scale go up, but it's not always good quality food that's gonna help you build quality muscle.
The third myth that I see that a lot of YouTubers do just to ego lift is that you have to lift heavy all the time. You do not need to lift heavy all the time. If you're doing ladder races, I don't want you fucking pushing a 50 pound with dumbbells. I don't want you doing that. You could hurt yourself. Not only that, like a guy who passed away, Rich Piana, said 20 reps. Greg Doucet suggests 15. It doesn't matter. Just go in between those. All it takes is 20 reps. Really squeeze the muscle at the end. That's all that matters. It's not about throwing, pushing weight here and there. It's really about getting the real contraction, the real mind muscle. I'm not saying that when you're benching, you have to go a little heavy, but I'm saying you really have to perform the movements correctly in order to grow muscle. You don't always have to lift heavy. That's a real big myth that I see people say. Focus on the technique more than the weight. If you're doing the movement correctly, that's all that it takes to grow muscle.